Burrow, our boy, for
Yeah.
10 years, man. And now he's with Detroit, which, okay, let's talk about that. But go ahead
Yeah.
about Sewell.
I was just, I mean, look, if I still was making the call, I would have taken Sewell because
Yes.
I just love linemen. I think I, I think it's okay to do because Jamar Chase is that special talent, but I just think it's harder to find a talent of Sewell's caliber at offensive line.
Right.
But I mean, that's just me. But then they did get Jackson Carman, who was an offensive tackle from Clemson. Now he might not play tackle because they worry about his ability against speed rushers. So but he might be playing interior at guard. So they maybe got a great guard who allow Mixon to and that's how they'll protect Burrow. Is
Yeah,
they'll
good point.
become a little bit more balanced maybe. So and then they got a steal in the third round with Joseph Asai, a pass rusher from Texas who was noted for his ability to stop the run. And the one thing they drafted, I believe, 7 offensive defensive linemen. They were just about building up their trenches, and that's what they need. They didn't have depth, and maybe that's what will help them. They have 2 developmental offensive linemen behind Carmen, who will probably will start this year.
So your hope, if you're a Bengals fan, is a quick release offense to all those weapons out there, so Burrow's not stuck in the pocket.
I think with Jamar Chase, I think he'll draw enough attention. If T. Higgins can essentially be like a basketball player, he can post up and then from the slot, Tyler will be able to move around and find open spaces. So like I think they're in a very good position. So.
Good deal. What else? Anything else strike you? Everybody I read, I just want to say this,
yeah.
Gave everybody what I've read, and our crack research team gave good letter grades to pretty much every team except one, the Houston Texans.
Well,
trash them. Trash them.
To be fair, the Houston Texans, a little bit.
We don't have many listeners there anyway, so I don't
yeah. They didn't have a lot of draft capital because obviously they gave a lot up for Larry Tunsil.
Yeah, but, right. That deal. Yes.
The David Mills. Again, we're talking about like Lance only playing 17 games. He at least played at a high level. David Mills was a high prospect coming out, and obviously he showed flashes in the 11 games he started. But he started 11 games, and in those 11 games, it was noted by many scouts that he still seemed to cringe because he was coming back from a knee injury. He still seemed he wasn't comfortable with his knee. Now, supposedly he has a very adaptability to throw the ball with anticipation, but man, the draft got that high with who has a bad wheel coming in.
Bad wheels.
Only played 11 starts, was not exceptional at Stanford. Yeah.
Well, let's not waste any more time on those guys. Yeah. What else did you like in the draft of 20? Roger Goodell's big show.
I liked the Ravens because the main they got a Bateman, the Minnesota wide receiver, out of the first round. Because I mean, we've talked about it before. The main thing is they just need to get better receiving help. And they drafted, they acquired Sammy Watkins in free agency to add to Marquise Brown. But I just like that how Bateman plays. He's more of a chain mover. And I'm not saying he can't do more, but he at least complements Marquise Brown as a deep threat.
Grind it out a little bit. Yep.
Yeah. So you have him as a chain mover. And also they drafted Jason Awahey from Penn State. Super athlete. I know his production's not there, but the nice thing about the Ravens is they're always good about like taking a guy and incubating him essentially for a year, and then like year 2 he explodes.
Chicken hatch. So, hatch that incubator.
Yeah. I do worry about the only thing I do worry about is I look at their backup quarterbacks. It's Trace McSorley from Penn State again, and Tyler Huntley. The way Lamar plays, you worry about him possibly getting injured. So I don't know.
Stranger things have happened.
Look, besides this one guy, I did not like Atlanta's draft, but I mean, I got to talk up them having having Pitts, Kyle Pitts is I'm just I mean I don't know they're gonna throw the ball like 50 times if they don't trade Julio. I mean they got Ridley and Kyle Pitts.
Throw the ball.
I mean that's the thing is like they're gonna have to draft another. AJ McCarron. They signed AJ McCarron as their back quarter. They're gonna have to sign another quarterback because like all their arms are gonna get tired because that's all they're gonna do is just.
Hasn't AJ McCarron been a backup on every team since like about 2010? I'm just making that up, but it just seems like it.
It feels like he's probably only been in the league for like 7 years, but it feels like he's a 12-year journey.
Because wasn't that the whole deal with Brent Musburger, right?
Yes.
And Brent's been retired for a long time, so it's been a while.
Well, off broadcasting, he's actually the Vegas is. I don't know.
He's the pitch man for something that's not right. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I think the Panthers draft was really interesting just because, like, again, when you look in terms of like the tangibles, like they clearly have a type. They just like guys who are super freak athletes. Like it's their first.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, their first 3 picks were J.C. Horn, Joe Horn's son. They needed a corner, and then they take Terrace Marshall, receiver out of LSU, who was like one of the few like large wide receivers in this draft. Everyone else was like
diminutive, right?
Yeah, they're talented, but they're all shorter. And then Brad Christensen from BYU, what he tested out, I think, is like a top 20 in terms of tangible quarterbacks, I think, in the history, which no one thought he was going to be. He has short arms, though, so he might not play tackle. He might be a guard. Yeah, he might have T-Rex arms.
T-Rex.
But and I think –
how do you feel about the Vikings and getting Kellen Mond as a backup quarterback, or is he the future Kirk Cousins?
I think he's the future.
Rick Spielman is the ultimate trade down guy, and he traded down and he got Kellen Mond at 66. Not a bad choice.
I think I was already on record. I really like Kellen Mond. He truly legit started. I know 3 years. I think he might have even started 4 in the SEC. And He didn't have the best wide receivers. And you could still find plays where, like, he hits them in stride and, like, he throws with zip. And he has good athleticism. He's not like Kyler Murray or anything, but he's got good athleticism. He's got good size. And, obviously, he's got world's experience. So, like, I love the pick. Obviously, I think Kirk Cousins, his contract expires in 2022.
Yep, clock's ticking up there. Clock is ticking on that team.
So they have 2 years to develop him, and just I don't know. I think they did a good job in terms of and Spielman has always done a good job of kind of reloading and retooling the team. So I think theirs is really good, and trying to see the. I think Denver Broncos had a very interesting draft just because are they going to get Aaron Rodgers?
Well, that's my next question. Quick show of hands. Yeah. Will he be a Packer in the coming season?
I'll ask the question back to you. If you were that inflammatory, let's just go through it. It was completely petty. Because of this. He waited a whole year. And think about the mindset to do this. He waited a whole year to say he wanted out of the Packers because when they drafted Jordan Love, he waited a whole year to get back at them.
Right.
Because he said he wanted to be traded. And he's a very smart guy. He knows he's not going to get traded. Like, if he wanted to get traded, he asked for a trade after the season ends. And he just keeps being that drumbeat. And obviously, you look at the 49ers, they asked about him. The Rams asked about him before they took Matthew Stafford.
Right before the draft, that came out, right?
Yeah, so there's plenty of teams interested.
Oh, yeah.
Just to put it in their face. And then he's talking about it's either me or you fire the GM. Look.
Wow.
I don't know how a lot of other people's jobs work. You can't try to fire. It's not even you're like direct boss, because I guess his direct boss would be the head coach of the
You
team.
Can't manage up. That doesn't work too well.
He's trying to fire the head of the corporation.
That doesn't work out too well.
Yeah,
your shareholder maybe you got a shot, but
I don't know. Well, I'll ask you just real quick. How would you try to walk that back?
You can't. So back to the original question: is he there when the first snap is in August, or is he September or not?
I believe one of the Beats reporters said there's a 5% chance. So
you're going no. You're saying he's gone.
I say no. I say he. I don't know if he tries to do. I don't know if he gets the. I know he wants the Jeopardy job possibly. Man, that must have been a great week of Jeopardy. I mean,
right, so if he whatever happens there, okay.
Yeah.
So who's your NFC North early prediction champion? Yeah, that's a loaded question. Detroit's pretty good. Packers are always good. Minnesota loaded up. The Bears are all new.
I will say this. I think the front runner is Minnesota, and this is the reason why. I know this is very bizarre because obviously they lost a lot of talent last year, and obviously it took a year. They started to develop talent back. But also the weird thing, and maybe it's going to change here. It'll break the pattern. Zimmer has like a good year and he has a bad year.
That's right.
Like he hasn't had – so last year was a bad year, so this year should be by that pattern the good year. So I look at their talent. Obviously, I think Fields has the potential to be really good, but I think there'll be some growing pains. I think there's a good chance if Aaron Rodgers is in there, I think there's a good chance Chicago could be the 2. Maybe they fall in the wild card again in the 7th or 6th.
And Nagy's on his free agent year. You know, he's on his on his last year. So, you know, he's got to do something or he's gone. And
I think LaFleur with Green Bay is actually a very good coach, because
turns out that way.
Obviously, Rodgers was motivated because he felt he was shortchanged, but I don't think you can completely give all the success to Aaron Rodgers last year. I think LaFleur's system is good.
Yeah.
That being said, that they didn't even dress Jordan Love last year tells you if he is the answer, it's not for another year or 2. Like, I doubt you set a guy who don't even allow him to be the backup. And it's not like they had like Mark Brunell, like a young Mark Brunell behind Aaron Rodgers. I forget the guy who was behind him. It's not like you're fine with him. Like
Chase Daniel. No, wrong team.
Chase Daniel.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it was back to the whole thing. I mean, we'll see how that shakes out. But it was a heck of a draft. A lot of people watched it. It was fun to watch. Roger Goodell pulled it off in Cleveland, gave Cleveland some love. The guys are freezing to death on the set. They were in their Home Depot gloves. But other than that, it's kind of fun to see that too.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an interesting experience. I'll just say this. It'll be the last thing on the draft, and then we can move on. But I just like rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday, just because it's the poison pill. I think of it's the Faustian deal you make. Like, the Rays are so good for round 1 and 2 and 3 on Friday that like the NFL is like, hey, if you want these days, you're gonna have to take off 4 through 7, and they're like, all right. So like you'll turn it on and like they'll have like a band playing like a musical set, because like there's no one going to watch 4 hours. It's just them saying names.
Well,
that's right.
Nobody broke tape. Nobody broke down tape on pick number 212 anyway. They just throw up a still slide of the guy. Yeah. He doesn't even get highlights. You know, it's like, what happened there? They started running out of those about pick number 70, I think. Okay, I just have a couple things I want to mention. Rest in peace, Apollo 11 command module pilot Michael Collins. He died this week at age 90. While Neil and Buzz got all the headlines, Collins was the guy up in the capsule, had their backs orbiting the moon all by himself. And then one more thing. This is a headline grabber. It went viral. A U.S. Fish and Wildlife crew caught a 240-pound lake sturgeon in the Detroit River in Michigan. And here's the kicker. The fish, at 7 feet long, is estimated to be at least 100 years old.
Wow.
They placed a tracking chip in it and let her go. She's still swimming, at 100 years old. That's what I got. What do you got, T-Dog? That's all I got.
I just want to say real quickly, happy trails to Charles Leno.